Hey there, paper geeks and glitter nerds, it's another crazy geek crafter. If you haven't seen the first two parts of this haunted house, I think you should go watch them. But this one is about the woodworking of this house. After doing all of those bricks on the main part of the house, I decided the towers were not going to be brickwork. I'm going to do some woodwork instead. First, I have to clean up. That's always a good thing when you do a big project like this. I feel like the desk gets so cluttered so easily. But I'm going to cut out some pieces for wood, and I'm going to texture them and then glue them on and cut them down. And it's easier to actually glue them first and then cut them. I am very bad at measuring, so better to just cut them directly off the piece, and that does eliminate the step of measuring. Win-win. I can tell you these strips are 1 centimeter wide, and I'm texturing them with a toothpick, which I broke. I think actually I broke both ends of this one and then the next one too. Later on I will try out a metal skewer, and it actually works far better. I stole that one from the kitchen, and it stays in my craft room. It doesn't go back to the kitchen. Just wanted to let you know there will be no paper in my cooking. But the metal didn't break as easily, but I don't think it gave us as nice lines as the toothpick did. But I'm interested in if I can see a difference in the two towers when I'm done painting and everything, then I'll know that one is better than the other. And since I drew more knots on the toothpick ones because it was easier, I think I will be able to recognize which one it is that is better than the other. Maybe that's just the same when everything is painted. But that's the question. I was still trying to figure out what to do with this little entryway, if it was going to be brick or if it was going to be wood. But in the end I decided on wood. And it's a bit hard to work with because it's open in the back. So I'm going to put in a piece of cardboard just to stiffen it up, and it also gives me more to use for gluing. And I think maybe I'm going to put this on with hot glue, and that makes it even better. Now this is white glue, that means it's a quick drying one, and that was on purpose. I just wanted to stabilize this little house so it would be easier to work with. I decided that maybe I should just start on the towers and then do the entryway as the last one. I did decide to trial and error the first side and then see if I could copy it to the others. I didn't know how to incorporate the window piece, and I was just going with the materials here. Now that I had done the first side, I could copy the markings to the other tower, to every side of the other tower, using the exact same template. And I could also copy it onto the other sides of the tower I had done one side on, which was a bonus. Now, this would have been very helpful if I had done this for the brickwork. That's for sure. And since I'm going to paint everything, the pencil marks doesn't matter. with the towers done, it was time to tackle this entryway. And the door was being problematic, or I was having troubles with it, so I tried to cut it out. And I succeeded, of course. But like I said in the first video, I don't want the door to be open, so I have to fix that again later. I take the measurements from my towers for the spacing of the pieces of wood. And then I glue it on both sides as far up as I dare. The idea was to let it dry and then try to bend it over to the tiny piece on the front. So I'm just going to get this done and get out of the sun, because that was really hot sitting there. It had been gone all day, the sun, and then all of a sudden it just shone in through the window. It was very hot. I'm not used to that. I normally craft at night, but with this project I've had to take a few extra hours in. And here is my test. If I can bend in the wooden pieces, and I can, but I'm still uncertain whether it will work. So I want to wait till all the glue dries before I bend in all of the pieces. Yeah, you should remember to stop crafting when you're tired, otherwise you just injure yourself. It wasn't too bad, I didn't really bleed that much, only when I pressed on the wound real hard, so don't worry. I decided it wasn't gonna work with the bending over the wooden pieces, so I cut them off, and now I'm going to make well, let's just say it's a stone entryway. It depends on how I color it, what we can tell. Let's say it's actually made of when we get to that point, that is. I'm gluing in on the next piece here that's going to go all the way above the door. And then I can cut out the tiny piece of the arch that is overhanging. And while that dries, I can start to make my entryway. I need the door that I cut out. I'm just going to, it's actually 2 pieces, so I just tape it together so I can use it as a template. And now I can try on the first arch. And it's a bit too skinny. You can still see too much of the base. So I'm going to cut another one, but don't worry, the first one won't be wasted. I will just add it on top of this thicker one. I think it's going to look pretty nice. Expensive maybe even. Here's the door you saw me cut in part 2. And here I figure out that it's too short, which is annoying because it had that wooden look that I really wanted for the door. So I'm going to have to do that in another way. But first I insert this paper, or vellum that is, behind the opening so that I can glue in a door at a later point. This will just make it easier to attach it. I got a lot done this past week, but I'm not sure it'll be enough to actually finish by Halloween. But don't worry, I will finish it. But this is the project up until now. Now I have to get back to the project, and I hope you'll be back next week for next episode in the series, maybe 2. Until then, I hope you'll be having a good day, evening, or night.